Years later, a doctor will tell me that I have an IQ of 48 and am what some people call mentally retarded.
Matt, what is your idea of intelligence?
Perfect. Being very smart, reading a lot, researching. Depends what you're talking about though. There's different kinds of intelligence. Like you can be intelligent in books in school, but you might not be intelligent in something else, or also you can be like street intelligent and be terrible at school. So I guess it all depends on who you are and what you like.
It's like a balance between like actual IQ points and like street smarts as well, because I think if you have one, you should have the other, if that makes sense. I don't think intelligence can like solely be based on one test.
My idea of being smart is being able to articulate yourself on a subject that shows that you A, know what you're talking about, and B, have taken the time to gain a critical understanding of the subject matter.
They have this definition when you're talking about people who are intelligent. It's the ability to take the knowledge and apply it. So for example, if you were talking to a little kid, and you might think this kid was gifted, and the kid would say, 10 million years ago, the Brontosaurus became extinct because blah, 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 blah. Some people might think that was intelligent, but it isn't. What would be intelligent would be if the little kid said, I know that the Brontosaurus became extinct 10 million years ago, but that makes me wonder, what do we have today that might be extinct in the future? To take knowledge and apply it to something in the future, that's intellect.
The IQ test was created in France in the early 1900s. The French government asked Alfred Binet to develop a test that would discover which students were most likely to experience difficulties at school. Binet, along with his colleague Theodore Simon, developed questions based on concepts that were not taught in school. The questions required attention, memory, and problem-solving skills. The test is referred today as the Binet-Simon scale and became the basis for the modern-day IQ test. However, Binet himself did not believe that this scale could be used to measure intelligence. He stressed that intelligence is too broad to quantify with a single number. In his opinion, the test would only serve to compare among children with similar backgrounds.
The IQ test consisted of, it was almost, a lot of them were like math questions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And just like regular, like, and I took it in Spanish, right? So they were like, a lot of them were like language questions too. And it was around the time where I had just come back from Canada, so my Spanish wasn't that great. My Spanish wasn't that great, right? So then like, I feel if I had studied for this IQ test, I would have like had better results, right? And I don't know if that's a very efficient IQ test to say, like, because I can alter my IQ by studying.
Our group, Tania, Claudia, and Matt, and I were doing a presentation on IQ as well. So like we kind of sat down, we're like, well, let's see if we can do like a mini IQ test or whatever. So all four of us sat down, and like there's four of us there, and it took us at least like 5 minutes to do one question, and like it was hard, and I think collectively we had an IQ of 110, so that was awesome. But I don't think it's like the common person wouldn't know that stuff, like we had to like look it up. Yeah, we cheated. We went on Google, obviously.
Do you think IQ tests are an accurate measurement of how intelligent a person is?
Not really. It doesn't measure how much you apply yourself in a given situation, so just because you don't perform well on that IQ test doesn't mean that you're not smart.
I don't think like an IQ test would be like logical, because then it's only your like how smart you are in that moment. I mean, technically, like later on in life, you could be like much more educated or experienced, and it could change.
Yeah, I think it's a good measure. I don't think it's scientifically. There's possibly some flaws in the system. I mean, IQ tests have been criticized in the past because there's a cultural component to it. Your general knowledge isn't really general knowledge that the quiz is looking for might not really be a predictor of intelligence, because if you don't know the state, the capital of South Dakota, it's not because you're not smart, it's because you just didn't grow up in the United States. They've changed IQ tests to reflect that reality. I wonder, maybe right on a bad day, maybe you're distracted, maybe you're not thinking straight, whatever, maybe you didn't get a good night's sleep before and you don't do as well on the test. Is it maybe that would affect your score, but I'm not an expert on IQ tests, but I would say that, anything like that is subject to various variables, might not be the best, most reliable indicator of intelligence.
No, not really. Because there could be someone who has like 90 and still do way better. And I know this isn't real, but Forrest Gump's IQ was like, what, 50, and he still did amazing.
Go! What's your sole purpose in this army? To do whatever you tell me, drill sergeant? God damn it, Gump! You're a goddamn genius!
The word genius is one we hear far too often these days. A proper definition would be that genius is defined as a person who is exceptionally intelligent or creative, either generally or in some particular respect, like musical genius. If you asked people for an example of a genius, they might name people like Leonardo da Vinci, Steve Jobs, Albert Einstein, or Pele. But what does it mean to be a genius?
What would you define as a genius? Because then you could say a math genius, or you could say like us, like
you could say a soccer player is like a genius as well.
Too.
But the thing those are all like relative terms again. I mean, I guess like smart doesn't fit in the sense that when you're doing like a physical activity, right? It's more based off of it's like general knowledge. We just know it as smart people are people that are good at studying, stuff that has to do, like if they're book smart, that's basically what we relate to smart the most, right? And that's why I think like, it's a very relative term as a word. Like genius is just a term that we throw out out there all the time now, and it means nothing really. Like in school, I found out that I was better at math than I was at any language course, right? And in the same way, I found out that I was better at playing guitar than at doing sports. You get to find it's like a whole range of things in there.
Maybe someone might not be like smart in that, like I guess intelligent in that sense. Like what if like they know how to do like certain handheld tasks, like I don't know, shoot something, like they're able to like hunt well or whatever, and like you couldn't tell that.
Different people are born with or have innate talents in certain areas. So just because you're not good at math doesn't mean you're not smart in terms of something else.
It's difficult to judge in that sense because like for the most part, I'd say people that are smart have people that have the ability to use their brain really well, right? And a soccer player can do that too. You can be a soccer player, but you have to think of what you're gonna do, right?
Yeah.
So you can be a smart soccer player. That's the thing too,
yeah.
Right? We just know it as related to whoever does better in school, whoever does better grades mostly. So it's mostly related to just being book smart, right?
Lucas pushed the shot. I'm gonna have to kill you.